Hey y'all, it's your Katy, Texas Realtor, and a quick market update for the end of May. As we come to a close of the school year, congratulations to all of you who made it through another school year, first thing, especially my little ones. Secondly, typically we see in the market more homes coming to market, and it is happening. We are seeing a few more homes coming to market, but they're not being absorbed, they're not being sold as quickly as the last 20 months. But keep this in mind, the last 20 months was a crazy anomaly. It was something that doesn't often happen, but it does happen. So if you were coming to the market, if you were thinking of coming to the market to sell your home, you want to get with a professional that's going to price it correctly. You're seeing more homes staying on the market a few extra days. It used to be 3, 4, 5 days. Now you're looking at 5 to 10 days. So keep that in mind. You need a professional to guide you through this small shift that we're going through. If you're a buyer, I heard a lot of you are quitting, and I understand it, but just like I said in a few videos ago, and I keep harping on this every single week, you are going to pay more for the same house next year. Prices are not gonna go down. Let me explain to you why that is. There's 3 main reasons. Number 1, there is only so much land in certain areas that are desirable, right? The places with the great schools, the low crime rates, all these things that make a place desirable. There is only so much land, and there is only so many houses that can be built. So you can't make more of them, right? So if you only have a limited supply of these houses, then the prices are gonna go up, right? That's number 1. Number 2, the last 20 months you've been in competition, not with just other buyers that are gonna live in the home, but you've been in competition with giant companies that are buying homes just to hold on to them, whether it's for rental or just for rental, but to sell them in 3, 4, 5 years, or to hold them forever, whatever it is. They all have different strategies. You're competing with them as well, and they have cash. I get it. It's frustrating. I'm a real estate agent in the Katy, Texas area. I help folks move into the Katy, Texas area, and I get it. We've been there, but we champion their cause and we figure it out. So that's number 2. Number 3, interest rates were kind of like a punch to the gut, and you've probably felt like, no, they're trying to price me out of the market, they're trying to push me out of the market, when in fact this is just something that's being used to curb inflation and a few other things that are happening economically in the country. So with that said, you're still seeing competition. But if you wait another year of appreciation, it's not going to be an additional 2 or 3% on top of the price of this year. It'll more than likely, and this is what economists are saying, is probably going to be anywhere between 5 and 7%, whereas the last 20 months you've seen 10, 20%, right? So it's not going to be as big a gap as we've seen in pricing from last year to this year as this year to next year. It's probably going to be smaller, but it's still going to be more expensive to buy that same home that you've been eyeing next year than if you just throw your hat in the ring today. Now, what does that look like specifically when we're talking about all these factors I mentioned, all this competition that I mentioned? How does one go about that? Much like your sellers, buyers, you need to find a professional that you're comfortable working with, somebody that can guide you and walk through the plan. And there's one last thing I want to talk about specific to that. I'm not sure where this comes from, and I'm not sure who is teaching this, but the truth of the matter is, if you go into a purchase as a buyer, unrepresented, or even as a seller, really, unrepresented by a real estate agent, all bets are off. Meaning, the other side doesn't have to look out for your interests. They don't. It doesn't matter if they are represented. Their license tells them that they're representing, in your case, the seller, or if you're the seller, in their case, the buyer. You don't have representation, you are not covered. We have licenses, we have insurances, we have the know-how, the knowledge. We do this every single day and twice on Sunday. So I think the biggest myth of if I'm a buyer and I go to an open house and I talk directly to the selling agent, to the listing agent, my apologies, and I deal with them directly, that somehow you're gonna get a better deal. Not true. First of all, in the state of Texas, it can happen, but it's rare. And that agent is opening themselves up to a whole world of trouble. That's the first thing. The second thing, even if that were to happen, that you somehow, they gained your trust or whatever it is, at the end of the day, you don't have anything on paper that actually says that this person is working on your best behalf. And honestly, how often do you buy, and this would be the third, how often do you buy real estate? I personally don't buy real estate every day, but I help people buy it every single day. I negotiate on their behalf. I take classes at least twice a week to sharpen my skills. I've took almost 200 hours of classes before I even got licensed. So I do this for a living and I work my butt off for you. So if you think that the seller is gonna save themselves a commission, which I guess is the last one, it's not. That commission is already promised to the listing agent. They're sharing it with a buyer's agent. If you as a buyer don't bring an agent, then that listing agent gets the whole thing. There's no savings, right? So keep that in mind. Find somebody that you're comfortable. You might look at my face and you might say, no, that's not the guy. Well, find the guy or the gal. It doesn't matter. Get it right, because at the end of the day, you're out there for yourself and you need to hire a team that's gonna cost you absolutely nothing to hire this professional team to represent you through this purchase.